Everybody, thanks for watching. Just a quick reminder that the first 3 books of the Bible series is now available: Genesis, Exodus, and Leviticus. Anybody who has ordered DVDs or flash drives before today, everything has shipped, so you should be receiving them soon. Sorry for any delays, but it's backed up. A lot of people have been ordering lately. But yeah, I want to get into this whole thing and really get people to really understand, again, why I've been doing a lot more videos on economics and trying to get people to understand why, we bickering back and forth about our position and where we are at. We fail to see what the actual problem is. And the solution is right there. We talk about it all the time, and it is economics. And a lot of people, we get into Black history and we want to understand about ancient Kemet, spirituality and everything like that, but that is not really going to change our position as far as where we are at economically or as a people. It's not going to be what move us forward. We got to understand where we are at and how things really work. And that's not going to change just because we understand about spirituality and everything else. We're not going to simply change our position based upon, us reading a bunch of books and everything like that. We have to really understand how this works. And they understand that, they know we are spiritual people. So whenever we attach onto something that deals with spirituality, we tend to get more immersed in that and look for the spiritual way out, vis-a-vis the Bible and all these Abrahamic religions. A lot of us take to biblical religion to try to find our release and our way out. It's the same thing with, looking into this whole thing with ancient Kemet and true spirituality. And a lot of people think that's going to be our way out, but these are just not realistic things. And there's a lot more to that people need to understand. If you watch my videos, you understand what I'm saying. But, to just keep it plain and simple, it's not going to work. We got to really understand where we are at, and that there are things in place to keep us from really rising spiritually as a people. They're not, of course, they understand what we can do and what's possible spiritually. So, of course, they will have things in the way to corrupt that. And that's basically what has been taking place. Our spirituality is being corrupted daily, as I talked about. So we got to really understand where we are at in the position we are in, and that we are basically, it's almost the same as an addict. We are addicted to our downfall. We are addicted to what's destroying us, and we fail to acknowledge that. And as long as we keep doing that, we're going to stay exactly where we are. But economically, this is the way forward for us. And we always talking about boycotting and, not shopping at certain places. And these are things that we really must do, but there has to be an alternative. Everybody always say, well, if we stop shopping here and buying food here, where are we going to get our stuff from? If we go give it to the Asians, they're just going to take it back to their community and not going to give it to us. We give it to the Jews, same thing, So, of course, the answer would be we need to have our own stuff first. So this is why I talk about personal economics and group economics, and people really understanding that, becoming a business owner is everything. And we have to start there. We are further behind than people realize, and it's deep when you understand it. Now, because of our buying power and the fact that we can, $1 trillion a year, we can very quickly boost our economy just by shopping with our own. But since we are so spread out and it's not that many of us, it's not enough for us to make a large dent. We need to focus more on, bringing more Black businesses to the Black community. And that's just a fact. So they understand that, economics is the key. They understand that this is what they must disrupt and corrupt, and make sure that we don't have, the real numbers and the amount of people coming out and creating these businesses. So we all understand and we all agree that white supremacy exists. We talk about this all the time, but we don't identify it correctly. Everybody looking at what happened with H&M, what happened with Starbucks, as this stuff being white supremacy. This is racism. We're looking at racism and saying white supremacy, oppression, when we're not really looking at what's going on. So if we agree and understand that white supremacy exists, where is it? What is it exactly? What are they doing? Now, you have people, Black folks, that can grow up in the hood, go out there, do good in business, get a job, and be rich. So what is white supremacy if a Black person can really actually rise up and go make money and be successful? Me, my personal story. poor, now rich. So if I can do it, what is white supremacy, specifically? What is it? So when you really understand what it is and you really look at it, we know that, of course, they're willing to allow a few people and even pay a few to slip through the cracks, get rich, and get out there because they understand what's going to happen. As long as they keep the black community in the state that it's in, guess what? We're not coming back there. So they know as long as they keep destroying the black community and keep black people in fear of the black community and keep it the way that it is, the people who come out of there that is successful, the climb they're going to have to make to get out is going to be so crazy. And when they reach this point of success, they're not going to want to come and bring it back to the community because what they see in that community is what they want to get away from. So why, if I'm a successful black person, why would I come out of this community, get an education, get rich, understand how things work, understand business and the people who I need to be in contact with and deal with in order to sustain and have a successful business? Why would I then bring my business back into the black community where it's going to be scrutinized, where I might not even get the support of the black people, and they might even, break in there and rob me and steal my shit? And that's just being real. And this is the fear that a lot of successful black people have about coming back into the black community. Shit, if I go back there, they might rob me. They might kill me. And you got to understand, as I said before, the key is to keep the black community the way that it is. To keep it this violent, keep us in this state and keep us indulging in this hip hop culture that's causing this violence and causing the community to be the way that it is. So as long as they can keep doing that, they understand that we're not going to be breeding many successful black people that's going to actually come back into the black community. When we get out there and we're successful, guess what they're running into? The white folks. That's right there to, coddle them, hold their hands, tell them how good they are, and tell them exactly what they want to hear that they do not hear in the black community. All you get in the black community is hate and people telling you what you can't do. And this is them. This is white supremacy. That's white supremacy. That's them being quiet and controlling the music industry that's controlling our neighborhood and getting us to believe that that's us. That's white supremacy. Plain and simple. That's the real power that they have, the real thing that they are using against us to control our economic condition by our own entertainment. And we rather take our entertainment, what they've given us, the poison, we rather take that and uplift that than to uplift what's going to, help us out of that community, what's going to actually fix the community. And they know that. So when we talk about and when we agree that white supremacy exists, we got to point it out. Everybody just, as I said, they're addicted. It's an addiction. So people don't want to address exactly what it is because we find entertainment in what it is. So when we point it out, what is it? It is the hip hop culture that was given to us. And since we're agreeing that this white supremacy exists, but yet we see that these Jews, these white people own the hip hop, the labels. They own hip hop. They running it. They controlling the whole entertainment industry. Yet we see them give millions of dollars to black people. So if white supremacy exists, what is up with that? Why they making all these black athletes millionaires and entertainers millionaires? Why would they be doing that? If we're sitting up here screaming white supremacy, racism, how is it that you have these people who are, top of business and industry running these empires and corporations, these white folks, how come they giving millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars to all these black folks? What's up with that? Again, we're not looking at it. People are not paying attention because they don't want to pay attention. Plain and simple. So it's not even subtle. When you look at it, you see, okay, yeah, they're giving all these black folks millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. But where is it going? It's not going back into the black community. And that's all they care about. They know when these NBA, NFL, MLB, what have you, all these entertainers, when they sign these contracts, they know because they tell them and they make sure that they are not going back into the black community and giving us shit. Because if that's the case, you got all these people, hundreds of millions, crazy contracts that we hear on ESPN all the time. People signing $200 million, $100 million contracts. All these years that passed, and we haven't seen nothing done major. None of these people have come back into the black community and did anything with all these millions of dollars. And they make sure that stay that way, plain and simple. So you can see it's part of the trap. It's a part of the oppression. So if that's the case, then now you have to look at these things differently and understand, while certain entertainment is just entertainment, of course, it all has a certain aspect to it that is designed to, to oppress us, to keep us oppressed, whether it be sports or entertainment or what have you, certain aspects. Either it's corporations putting money behind it, or just the fact that you have people who are willing to do whatever it takes to get in these positions of fame and stardom or what have you, and destroy their life or what have you. But black folks. But we can clearly see that when you go and analyze this hip hop culture and hip hop and the fact that they control it, they make sure that we have it. They make sure that we praise it and glorify it every year with awards and everything like that. When we really scrutinize it and really pay attention to it, we can see exactly what it is, and that it's a Trojan horse, and it has been designed to destroy us from within. I don't see how you have so many people who believe that, religion, as big as it is false. That has been tampered with. It has been created to control man. I don't see how so many people can believe that. So many people can look at what happened with Black Wall Street. We see that. What happened with, even 9/11 and everything that's been going on. People can look at all that, but refuse to believe that hip hop was created to destroy the black community. A lot of people are not willing to accept that because they have emotional attachments to songs that's designed to make them feel a certain way, specifically for that reason, for you to hold on to the music and to these artists and believe that they are good. And yeah, for the most part, a lot of them are good. A lot of them have no clue what they're doing. But when you dig into this and understand, nobody being real with themselves can deny the effect that the culture has had on the black community. We can see that clear as day just by us going before the 1970s and looking at the black community. Going back into the 60s and even the 1800s, as I talked about before, when we had at the end, even after slavery, at the end of the 1800s, you had black people just knew what to do, because remember, we've been running master's business for a long time. So they knew about business. We knew how to run things. We knew how to control things, and we flourished in business 1800s, early 1900s, when everybody know what happened with Black Wall Street. So as I talked about before, even in the 50s and 60s, because we could only patronize each other, we couldn't really go out to white neighborhoods and stores. We did well. We did well. We was patronizing each other, going into black businesses, and we was spending money within our own community, and that money was coming back in the community. Clear black economics that they understood had to be stopped. We have truly forgotten our history and what we've been through as a people and where we come from. And we are slowly, as I said, changing into who they want us to be, into the way they really are. Plain and simple. That the level of hate that we have for each other and things that we do, and the success, and individual success, that we have, as a people, it's crazy. I never seen so much hate. So many people hate on, another person, for their success or for anything that they've done as much as we do. You never see it. You never see it. You have a lot of people who do so out of jealousy, like within families and stuff like that, but they don't wish harm or that a person just is completely broken poor, but everybody has envy and jealousy or what have you, but we take that shit to a level that, it's unparalleled to the rest of the races. And it's crazy how much hate we have and how much we don't help each other. And nobody can say that that's like reaching, because it's clearly obvious in the fact that we don't support each other. We don't support black business, and you have people who is willing to come out, as I'm going to talk about later in this video, to jump out and just speak against and praise the fact that they don't support black businesses. It's just something that's crazy. So, you have a lot of people who are not on board with, supporting black business or, just trying to become a business owner, because a lot of people feel like personally they're not going to be able to do it. A lot of people look at their situation when we talk about personal economics and we talk about group economics, and we talk about really, making this thing work. A lot of people look at their life and their situation and they can't really see themselves quitting their job or opening up a business or getting that loan or what have you. So they sort of dismiss that whole thing. And it's a selfish thing that people do, because there's a lot of people out there that can use your help in small ways. And they have the means and the ability to go further and to open businesses, but they just need a little bit of help from a lot of you who are basically backing away from the whole thing. By you supporting the black businesses that are open and helping those guys out and really contributing to this whole thing. Just that is enough to boost us in a position to where we can start to move forward. So today, opinions are entertained and solutions are criticized. And a lot more people are willing to give you their opinion than a solution, because once you give a solution, it's, holes are poked in it. People, it's left up to scrutiny, and people give you their opinion, when you give your solution, and nothing really gets done, because a lot of people base their opinions and their solutions off of, emotional reactions. So when we see a lot of things that happen, a lot of people get emotional by it, and they don't really think things through when they give you their opinion. It happens all the time. So when people was talking about, boycotting this and not watching NFL and everything like that, you got to really step back and think about everything that you're saying when you give an opinion or a solution like that, because it's not, it's not going to fix anything when you really understand what's going on. So a lot of people wanted us to give up football, but they don't want to give up the TV shows and everything that cast us in a bad light and show us to be, exactly the stereotypical black female or black male. And, a lot of people don't want to give those shows up. When they come on, it's not a problem. People watch those and they glorify the people in it, not really understanding what that's all about. So, those opinions and those solutions, when you really, look at them, it's not going to fix anything, plain and simple. So you have so many people speaking out about exactly what we need to do, and nobody's really paying attention or listening to, the real solution. So you have Michael Jackson telling you straight up, we need our own. You have Prince telling everybody, hey, we need our own. Even Jay-Z lately, we need our own. Everybody, Denzel Washington, a lot of people have been coming forward about black people needing their own. And we still fail to see that we don't have our own. So basically what we fell victim to as far as with religion, we've fallen victim to now with this hip hop culture that we don't control. We didn't control this religious Abrahamic religion that came out and basically dominated us and had us following it. And still, for the most part today, black people are following it. That's not ours. Same thing with the hip hop culture. We believe it's ours, but it's not. It is controlled by the people who are basically oppressing us, and they're using it against us. And there's a lot of people who understand that and see it, that, if we controlled it, if it was ours, we can put out music that would uplift us and put us in the right position and situation, versus then music that's basically beating us down. But again, these are things that we enjoy, and a lot of people find entertainment in this stuff, so they don't want to give it up. Like I said, it's like an addiction, and it's a lot of excuses out there. A lot of people say, well, this is not something, whenever they show black people fighting or black people in, just a messed up situation, people always say, well, white people do that. Every race has these issues. Every race has these problems. Every race is not in the position that we are in, and that's basically the fact. We can't go by what they are doing. At the end of the day, when they show white people fighting and everything like that, that is not a bad look for their race. It's just not, because they have a community, a white community, that frowns upon that type of behavior, plain and simple. So when you see white people out there fighting, their community frowns on that behavior publicly. That behavior is not looked at as a good thing. Same thing in the Asian community. That stuff is just not, it's not looked at as a really good thing. It's not glorified. We glorify what's destroying us. So when we see black people fighting out there, it's glorified. We videotape it, put it on World Star. It's a big thing. And for us as a race, it adds to the stereotype. So it's basically adding to what has been put out about us. And this is done for a reason. Stuff like World Star and these shows and everything that's out there to make us look a certain way are out there for a reason. You find entertainment in it, but it's put there to destroy us and keep that image of us, as a destructive people, relevant. And we make it relevant. And it's hard to argue, who we are and what we are really about when this is what we show. So when we say, well, white people act like this, white people, they rap, white people do this, they do that. Their race is not conducive to those things, plain and simple. Their race does not condone those things. We talk about shooting and killing and glorifying everything that we glorify, and it's out there that is attached to us. And for us to be in such a low position as a people, this is something that we can't have attached to us when we are, desperately trying to build ourselves back up, but we keep bringing each other back down with this type of behavior and this type of look. And that's the issue. So when you say stuff like this and when you put this kind of stuff out there, it's just something in everybody that has been programmed for them to say, man, whatever, it's just music. It's just entertainment. We have been programmed with that feeling to feel uncomfortable when somebody is going against hip hop or going against entertainment. So a lot of you probably felt it already from me just talking about or showing pictures of those things that you like. You feel some type of way. And we don't realize that we have been programmed to feel some type of way when somebody talks against it. So it's the same thing with religion. When the person is, debating religion or talking against the Bible, as I talked about before, norepinephrine, that whole hormone that kicks in, and the same hormone that is produced when you're in a fight for your life is produced when you are in an argument with somebody about religion or about who's the best rapper. That same hormone is produced, and as I said, this is why two people can get into an argument about something stupid and somebody end up killing the other person, because they stepped on their sneaker. It's the same hormone that is produced. An argument can turn into a murder real quick, because a hormone is produced that has you, feeling like you're fighting for your life. It's the same thing by simply arguing religion or simply arguing about, hip hop culture and what we should and should not be looking at. So when you understand that and you look at the fact that we have this and it's there and we don't control it. And when we look at what's being put out there, it's like, why are we accepting this? And that's the thing. Because it's popularized, because so much money is being put behind it, and it's glorified so much by people that, a lot of black folks look up to. It's the ultimate deception that has been bringing us down for a long time. And we know, it's a lot of these artists that everybody glorify that we shouldn't be glorifying, that it's not a good look for us as a people. And at this point now, black folks is like, so what? A lot of people just don't care. My point in me pointing all this out is to get you to understand what exactly is causing the downfall of us and what's keeping us from moving forward economically. This is one of the major things. So when we look at a lot of these solutions, a lot of people always talk about boycotting, as I said, and us not patronizing a lot of these businesses. And again, we have to have an alternative in order for us to do that. So if we boycott this or don't shop here or buy food here, where are we going to get it from? So we got to have these things in place before we can do something like this. But another thing people fail to realize and understand is this. When we talk about not shopping at these malls and going to these stores, this is not the major producer of wealth for white folks. So it's not like us not going to Walmart or us not going to Target or us not going to supermarkets is going to somehow crash or cause a major problem in the wealth of white America. They have vastly more resources and sources of income than just retail stores, plain and simple. Now, we're talking about these commercial stores and we're talking about these corporations and everything like that. It's a bunch of them, and they have, investments and money in so many different things. We don't go shopping at Boeing. We don't really make a dent in GE products, even though we know they make dishwashers and stuff like that. They have other things that they make as well, weapons, tanks. It's a lot of other markets that they have besides retail stores. So even if we just left the retail stores, they dominate in so many other sources of income and wealth that we don't even touch. We ain't nowhere near scratching the surface of. So in this small sense, we're talking about simply opening mom and pop stores or opening retail stores. Even that, it would generate wealth, but it's not going to be something that's going to put us in a huge, situation where we have this cluster of corporations that's going to rival all of theirs. So when I say we so far behind, I don't think y'all realize how far back we are. If this was done, still, we open our stores. Okay, yeah, we surpassed them maybe on a retail level. We can probably get, diversity and people shopping at our stores and their stores as well. But when they control the supply lines and control the resources and the incomes and the people who are the wholesalers and the people who we will be buying from, if they could say, hey, we're going to pay you more to not give these people such and such. It's a lot of other avenues we have to think about as far as, corporations and us owning any retail spaces and having the wholesalers and the products. It's so much more to it than that. But again, we have to really get in a better situation economically and control more resources. And that's the main thing than what we do. Now, on a wholesale level, as I talked about in personal economics, that's something we can do. We can open up stores. We can open up restaurants. We can eventually grow and probably come together in some aspects to create large corporations that we could, compete. But we're so far from that, man. We're talking about having a large, I want you to sit back and think of a black corporation that's on the level of a Walmart, or that's on a level of a GE, or on a level of an Apple, or on a level of a HP, or on a level of General Motors or Dodge or Ford, or all these corporations that we know about that have existed for hundreds of years, for decades, and we don't have nothing. So it's a lot of work. So again, the situation is keep them distracted for as long as possible. As long as they are distracted and playing with the ball of yarn, we over here, we can get business done. And that's what's taking place. And it's so crazy, how we look at this stuff and it's official and everything looks amazing when we look at this hip hop industry and they have the Grammy Awards and all this money being put behind this culture, and it's just a distraction. It's bullshit. They don't care how much money they throw at this situation or who these miscellaneous black folks they make rich. They're not worried about that. The whole thing is they're keeping us in one position and keeping us occupied with something that's destroying our community. So the deception, is ongoing, and it's 2018 and we still haven't, really fully let go of biblical religion. And that's the crazy part. Anybody with a brain can go back and look and see what this stuff is and that it's a falsity. And we still have not, let that go. So that should tell you, you go back to after slavery and, early 1900s, it's nobody that could fathom that we will be even challenging religion the way we do today. And even today in 2018 now, we still haven't fully gotten over it and gotten through it. There's still millions of people, billions of people who choose to believe in a fairy tale despite any proof. So with that much of a stranglehold, for hundreds of years we're talking that you have these people keep this hold over us for so long, and it's still here.